Hi everyone, my name is David. I'm the founder of the Long Game LSAT, and today we're going to be talking about correlation versus causation. So this is one of the lesser common flaws on the LSAT, but basically it's testing your ability to know the difference between something that's correlated, or two things that are correlated, and two things that are causing each other. So first, what is a correlation, right? Or what is a causation? So a correlation just means two things that are correlated with each other, which is that they follow one another. So maybe we have something like snake bites, ice cream sales are both correlated with each other. So they both go up when another one goes up. Now, this is for sure a correlation, but does this mean that it's also a causation, meaning that one of them causes another? Do snake bites somehow cause there to be more people eating ice cream or more ice cream sales? No, right? Of course not. There could be a third cause for each of these things. So maybe it's summer, right? So as summer comes around, people go out more, they have more ice cream, and they also are more likely to be bitten by snakes. So although this is a correlation, there is no causation here. Ice cream is not causing snake bites. Instead, they are both caused by a third circumstance, which is summer, right? So summer is causing snake bites and ice cream to go up. So that's one way a correlation doesn't have to really be a causation. Another way, which is far more common on the LSAT, is a reverse. So let's say that the amount you smoke is correlated with the likelihood that you're going to get cancer. Does this mean that getting cancer means that you're more likely to smoke? Well, no, right? Of course not. It's the other way around. So on the LSAT, this is going to be a very common way they're going to try to trick you into thinking something. Because of course, it's so obvious here when we're talking about something that's clearly causing something else, but when you mix it in with a bunch of jargon and hard to read language, it can be really confusing to distinguish between one thing causing another and the reverse of that. All right, so in order to apply our newfound correlation versus causation skills, we're going to be looking at test 135, section 1, question 8. So try to do this question by yourself now, pause the video, and then come back to listen to the explanation. So this question starts off by saying that the proportion of fat calories in the diets of people who read the nutrition labels on food products, so the amount of fat that a food has, for people who read the nutritional labels, is lower, so they have less fat, than it is in the diets of people who do not read nutrition labels. Well, yeah, that makes sense, right? So maybe the people who read the nutrition labels, they're more conscious of their health, so they're going to not buy the foods that have a lot of fat calories or something like that. This is going to be our conclusion, right? We're going to claim something on the basis of this premise. So this shows that reading these labels promotes healthful dietary behavior. And that doesn't really have to be the case, right? It's the fact that these people were already healthy to begin with that leads them to read the labels, right? So just because these two things are correlated, right, the amount of fat calories and people reading the labels, doesn't mean that one is causing the other, right? There could be a third cause for both of them, which is that these people are healthy, right? Meaning they're not going to eat foods with that many calories, and they're also going to be reading the labels. So one thing doesn't have to cause the other, right? Think about the ice cream example, where ice cream sales and snake bites go up at the same time, yet does one cause the other? No, right? It's summer, a third cause causing both of them. So this is a similar situation where the fat calories people consume, sure, that's less for these people, but it's not because they also read the nutrition labels. It's because they're healthy, right? You could just as easily claim that, well, they read the nutritional labels because they eat less fat. Fat does something to your brain that makes you want to read more. So we're asked, the reasoning in the argument above is flawed, in that the argument, so always try to make a prediction. So here I'm going to predict that, it's confusing a correlation for a causation. So, yep, A says that right off the bat. And right now, I'd probably skim through B through E and make sure they're not that. But really the explanation for why B through E are wrong is just going to be that they're not saying infers a cause from a correlation, right? It's taking a correlation to be a cause. B says that it relies on a sample that's unlikely to be representative. Yeah, I have no idea if that's the case. I mean, maybe, I'm not sure. Confuses a condition which is necessary for a phenomenon that is sufficient. That's a different flaw. You can watch our video on sufficient versus necessary conditions. That's also going to be in the description. D takes for granted that there are only two possible alternative explanations of a phenomenon. I don't think we ever looked at two different alternative explanations. And then E draws a conclusion about the intentions of a group. We never really talked about their intentions. So yeah, it's going to be A. And so I hope you learned about correlations versus causations on this video. If you want more in-depth tutoring for your LSAT journey, make sure to look at our description where you can find the 1-hour tutoring that is now available on the Long Game LSAT. Thank you.